Rank Auburn back in action against the Georgia Bulldogs. A rematch of a game that was played just 28 days ago in Athens, and the Tigers hoping to exact revenge this evening. So glad you could join us with the shooter Pat Bradley. I am Roy Philpott, and let's start first with the Bulldogs, the visitors. And how about the play, the strong play of Terry Roberts in the backcourt? He is our worth a watch tonight, brought to you by Principal.
It all starts with Terry Roberts. He's the engine for this Georgia team. Great balance, great change of speed and direction, can finish at the rim, but also can finish above the rim. And he starts out transition, getting easy buckets for this Georgia team.
Over 17 points per game in league play. Meanwhile, for Auburn, hey, it's the Georgia native. He told us this week this game means a little bit more to him. And in league play, and especially in the last 6 in particular, shooter, Jalen Williams been on a bit of a heater.
Yeah, at 6'8", he's their best three-point shooter, 37% from beyond the arc right now. However, Coach Bruce Pearl likes to use him, a lot of action to get him isolated right around the free throw line area to let him work with his nice little soft lefty hook.
Williams can do it in a number of different ways. He said, you know what, I've got a ton of friends that go to UGA. They've been talking crap to me since January 4th. The Jungle wants to bite back tonight. We will see if that happens. Just about set, ready to go in the first of 3 games in the rough and rugged Southeastern Conference tonight. Got LSU and Mizzou as soon as we're done here on the Plains. But a bit of business to take care of first. Anselm and Broome set to jump things up. Georgia in the road reds, Auburn in the home whites, and we are ready to go. Veteran officiating crew led by Pat Adams, Owen Short, Patrick Evans. Georgia trailed for only 14 seconds in the first game between these two. The Dogs were dominant in transition. Mike White said he feels like that could reverse itself tonight. They've got to be better in transition defense in front of this hostile crowd. And you see Auburn go straight to Johni Broome. That is going to be a theme for us today, considering Johni had a big game their first matchup, but also that's where their strength is going to be down low with Johni Broome. Shot clock under 10. Crowd will tell you about it. Open look for Jalen Williams. Not this time. And the rebound grab by Juice Holt. Dogs coming off an overtime win against South Carolina. Rebound inside, up and in, and that was Moncrief.
Yeah, M.A. Moncrief, Matt Alexander Moncrief's a great athlete. Staying around the rim for him, that's a big part of his offense. You mentioned Johni Broome will get to start the double-double against the Dogs on January 4th. One of 6 that he has secured so far this season. In fact, that's the only time he's had a double-double, and Auburn has lost. See if that changes tonight. Wendell Green with a pass. Broome for 3. And a good box out, but last touch by Terry Roberts. Well, and it's not a secret what Georgia's defense is going to give Auburn, right? We've seen 2 possessions. We've got 2 threes in the corner. One by Jalen Williams, who is a 37% free throw shooter. He can make that. Johni Broome is improving. Matter of fact, we saw him today in shoot-around. He was the last one to leave. Roy Philpott. The man said, let me shoot it.
He's got it in the arsenal. Don't care what the stats say. Flanagan. Too strong. Broome. And a fresh 20. Flanagan off the bounce. Tried to spot Williams. Nearly picked off. Shot clock did not reset. Tigers coming off that tough loss at West Virginia. No bounce for Jasper. Broome again on the offensive glass. Green's wide open. Off the pump fake. Broome again. 3rd time's a charm. And a chance for 3.
Can we take that possession and put it in the Auburn Bruce Pearl Hall of Fame, right? Energy, effort, 3. Offensive rebound, come back at him. And so Auburn's only making 6 three-pointers a game this year, right? So my prediction was they're going to come out tonight, make about 12 of them. They're going to get the opportunities. It's not that they can't. They just got to make a few, and then it's contagious. They start falling, but we know it's no secret. The strength is going to be on the offensive glass tonight.
So the Tigers on the scoreboard. Georgia back to work. Here's Moncrief. Stolen by Green. 3-on-2. There's the lob. Flanagan dumps it home. Quick burst by the home team. Terry Roberts operating and was clipped on the wrist. One more look at that alley-oop.
Well, that's what you want to do, get out in transition. Good hands. Wendell Green gets low, digs it out, sees that runner, Alan Flanagan. You think he's healthy? I think he is. Talking to him earlier, his father was showing us his wingspan. The Little Rock native goes up. That's a high percentage shot right there for him.
They could have used that against you back in the day. One more for Roberts. Let's take a look at Embrace the F, brought to you by Regions. And you talk about this matchup, the backcourt of Georgia versus the front court of Auburn. And the winner there, just in terms of total points tonight, Shuda, we think has a great chance to win.
Well, there's no doubt. That possession right there, when this entire place is going crazy, it's loud. Terry Roberts slows everything down, quiets the crowd, gets to the free throw line. That's the importance of having a point guard like that that can slow it down and get you a good possession.
Transfer from Bradley. The first foul for Auburn called against Zep Jasper. Green, up and under, no. And cleared by Oquendo. Oquendo had 17 in the first meeting between these two. He'll get a chance for his first 2 points at the stripe tonight.
Well, Cario was just ready to launch for takeoff. If we see that, Georgia in transition is excellent because of Cario Oquendo and Terry Roberts. They can handle it. They're smart. They're strong. They play through contact. You see Oquendo right there turn the corner, and he was ready. He went off 2 feet. He was ready to yoke it on somebody.
72% at the line. He's got one more. That foul called on Jalen Williams, his first. Dogs try to tie it up here. Mentioned the overtime dub against South Carolina. Auburn's lost its last 2 and had that home court winning streak snapped a week ago tonight against Texas A&M as Buzz Williams' team and Boots Radford played extremely well. They're trying to start a new streak this evening. Too strong.
Janai had Zep Jasper on that flex cut right there at the block. Was open.
A little high-low with the big man trying to toss it into the guard. Williams thought about it for a moment. The pump fake and the mid-range, no. Broome, another offensive rebound. He has been a monster.
He has, and the beauty of that play is even though Janai Broome doesn't get the ball when he dives to the basket, he's in position for the offensive rebound.
Stolen by Williams, stolen back by Roberts. Roberts had a career-high 26 in the first meeting. Who touched it last? Stay with the Dogs.
Yeah, Terry Roberts at 6'3", great length. His change of speed and change of direction. If there's one thing that a player out there listening has to understand, I don't care what your body looks like, how fast you are, change it, learn how to change your speed, change your direction. You watch Terry Roberts, he's about as good as there is in the league at doing that.
Pat Adams switched the call at the last minute. It's back to Auburn. There are his numbers that night, January 4th at Stegman. Efficient. Oquendo was efficient that evening as well, 6 of 10 from the floor. Flanagan rises high.
What I loved about that is Alan Flanagan sprints. I mean, that's a sprint with a hard curl. That's how you get the ball in position to attack while the lane is still open. Got to be quick with your cuts against this Georgia defense.
Tigers by 4. Oquendo for 3. Williams clears. And a skip pass will be picked off. Oquendo looked like a strong safety.
That's right. Well, this is an excellent Georgia defense. Very connected, great communication, understand the game plan. They understand the personnel of Auburn, where they want to go with the ball.
Boy, 3 different players hit the deck in that sequence. And a timeout on the floor. Home team out in front, 9-5. We are underway here at Auburn.
Little studio update. How about this? The #1 defense in the country getting torched right now. Part of a 15-0 run. Florida up 17-6, boys.
On the offensive glass, he's got 4 boards already. Auburn leads by 4. Pat Bradley, Roy Philpott. One of the conversations surrounding AU hoops this year, when you look at some of the bigger backcourts perhaps that have gone off against this group, against Wendell Green Jr., KD Johnson and company, bit of a size differential that we've seen. Even the West Virginia matchup in Morgantown, Eric Stevenson at about 6'4", poured in 31 points. That's not lost on this group. Zep Jasper talked about it before their trip to Morgantown, and they accept that as a challenge.
We got to take it personal. We see a lot of guards going at us, trying to come at us. And it's a game they always get up for, you know, playing against a great Auburn team, a ranked Auburn team. And, you know, they'll love to be on ESPN. They'll love to have 30. They'll always remember this for a lifetime. So, you know, we have to do better on the ball.
So you go back and you look at the losses this year for Auburn, and you take a look at those backcourts, and the size differential, I don't want to say it's significant, but between, let's say, 3, 3.5, maybe 4 inches. And at times there have been some high productive performances in said backcourts, including Terry Roberts, what we saw in the first game between these two.
Right, and you know, the Auburn guards understand that. The one thing, though, that separates them and they're able to be successful is they're tough. And if you're not tough playing for Coach Bruce Pearl, you're not going to get on the floor. So, yes, they're not as tall as their opponents most nights, but they're tough, they're aggressive. And you saw early on Wendell Green, he goes down, he digs for steals. KD Johnson, he's another one about as tough as nails, wants the ball in his hands. So that's what separates these guys, despite their lack of height.
Cardwell picked up his first personal. You love what Jasper said there in that clip. High off the glass from Moncrief, no. Williams rips away the rebound.
Look at a tight rim tonight.
A little tight.
The guys are a little juiced. Great pass.
Cardwell triple teamed outside to Flanagan. That's a 3, and that's the first of the game for Auburn.
Is that a little analytics pass right there? I mean, he had a wide open 2. Jokic, he could have chinned up on the rim. Passes out to his guy to get him going, though.
Dogs in a bit of a scoring drought over 2 minutes. And tapped out with 15 to shoot.
First off, that was a great pass from the perimeter right here. KD Johnson. Cardwell, hey, he had 3 guys on him, okay? However, I like that decision. Now they look at it. Get the 3 over the 2. Get Allen Flanagan going.
Metrics. That's what you're telling me that was.
He looks good. He has worked on his body. Looks fantastic. Dylan Cardwell. He's a highly emotional and fun player to watch.
Here's Roberts. Just 1 point so far tonight, leading scorer for the Dogs. One of the top transfer guards in the SEC, and he makes him pay from downtown.
Change of speed, change of direction, under control, jab step, step back. That's what he gives you, and he's got great length. That 6'3", though, his wingspan is much higher than that.
Lob for Williams was bumped by Moncrief, and that'll be his first.
There's a little action there Coach Pearl talked to us about. Going back to this Terry Roberts play. Ooh! And it's that one jab step that got Allen Flanagan leaning back. He knows he's got to respect Terry Roberts taking it all the way to the basket. Kid can finish at the rim. Beautiful step back, and then he got his bounce. Once he stepped back behind the three-point line.
That consistency is also what you love if you're Mike White or a fan of the Dogs. Scored in double digits every SEC game this year. Well, Brandon Miller can say the same in Alabama.
That spot right there is where Jalen Williams can make a living this season. Right at that free throw line area, makes himself available, big turn. Nice little soft lefty hook.
His first points lead back to 6.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is proud somewhere watching that.
Hey, speaking of Kareem, his scoring record's about ready to get undone by LeBron James.
Well,
that's happening next week. Roberts, that's a deep 3. No comment on that one, huh?
Is it the same amount of games? I'm just asking. Same amount of games?
I don't know if that's the case. Trey Donaldson on the floor. I thought he played well against West Virginia. Had a couple of big shots in that game.
I thought so, too. He pushed the tempo when he needed to. He was under control. One thing Georgia's defense does a great job of, and Jalen Williams was able to slice through the defense. They protect the paint really well. And they focus, of course, on forcing a three-point shot from Auburn.
Johnson launching. Tigers have made 4 in a row. Before that trip, they missed 2 there.
Georgia defense won that one.
Georgia defensively, if you look at the numbers, light years better than a year ago. And when I say light years, I'm talking about rankings in the 200s to now in the top 25, especially when it comes to defending the 3. Graphic tells you the story there. Blocking foul and a chance for 3, and that was Moncrief in action.
He's a fun player to watch, man. The more time he spends around that paint, the better of a game he has. Right around the paint, can catch, finish. You see that athleticism. He just hung in the air. Like suspended for about 5 seconds.
Second foul on Jalen Williams. Roberts will get a breather.
And to add what you said about Georgia's defense, a couple of things Mike White has said it's non-negotiable. We're going to stay in front of the basketball. We're going to do everything we can to make sure you don't dribble around us, and then we're going to help. So you watch their defense. They do a very good job keeping the ball in front of him and protecting the paint.
Some confusion off the miss. Was an and-one opportunity. Patrick Evans will reset. Leo Berman checking in. Mike White, we had a great conversation with him pregame. Offensive rebounding was one of his big concerns. You see his 12th season now as a D1 head coach, and also transition defense. Really felt like Auburn would be able to flip the script compared to the first game tonight, playing at home with this crowd behind it.
In general, Mike White has decided, say, we're going to pack it in, we're going to force the three-point shot. When you do that, you're going to get long shots, long rebounds. And you couple that with Auburn's great athleticism and aggressiveness on the glass. So, yeah, offensive rebound's going to be a big issue. What a pass.
Inside to Broome. He's got 5 boards already and now 7 points. Fast start for Johni Broome. Abdur-Rahim with a full head of steam, and he'll shoot 2. Chris Moore picks up the personal.
That was great patience. That's Auburn offense right there. The high ball screen. Coach Pearl's been doing that for a while. And you've got a lot of action going on in the middle. Great patience by Trey Donaldson right there. Just, he knew at some point Johni Broome is going to get open. I was surprised he didn't throw it to the corner of the backboard, though. Hey, Johni, go get that.
Yeah.
Let's make SportsCenter tonight.
He's done that a couple of times already. Jabri 82% at the line. Dad's in attendance tonight as well. Sharif Abdur-Rahim about 5 rows behind the Georgia bench. The former NBA standout checking out his son tonight, which is always great to see. Here's Donaldson. Sweet crossover. Outside to Moore. Justin Hill. Open for a moment. Back iron. And Berman will have that rebound stolen by his teammate Broome. Well, that'll give him 7 boards already for Johni Broome. Who do you credit
like any
that
good
with?
big man. Like any good big man.
Is that what you do?
You give me that one, okay? It means more to me than you, Berman.
But if I'm officially scoring, I would give it to Berman there because he had his mitts on it first, and then Broome kind of reached over the top. That's a dilemma. Donaldson too strong.
And that Georgia defense makes you go one-on-one like that when there is lack of movement and you don't run the offense.
Ingram open, that's a 3. And it's good. Big shot for the Dogs, 1 possession game.
Yeah, Jalen Ingram's a guy, make that shot. You got to account for him. That was good action and good ball movement by Georgia.
Shooter, he's a 7th-year senior. 7th-year senior.
Yeah, I remember him in high school. We played, he's a heck of a defender. Defense, zone defense by Georgia.
More silky smooth. Boy, it's great to see him healthy again. You know, he came back, got popped in the mouth in practice after that shoulder injury, had to get 7 stitches. Appears to be okay, and that's good news if you're a fan of the Tigers. How about Broome with a steal? Yeah. Boy, he warded off Bridges with a forearm afterwards, too.
And Bridges is very creative down there in that block. Just got caught no man's land.
Katie Johnson fouled. Boy, the crossover for numeral 0 can be downright nasty at times. The lead is 4. Auburn shooting free throws after this. We're in Gainesville. Pat Bradley, Roy Philpott here in Auburn. And do we have some happy birthday tidings to release?
Patrick Young, our guy, huh? Maybe Florida said on his birthday, we're going to show off, but Patrick Young back in the studio. Happy birthday.
Get it done.
Our guy. We love the guy.
Well, Tennessee, we know about the Vols and their defense. And if you look at the numbers so far, they are right up there in the modern era of college basketball with some of the best we've ever seen in the SEC. So you have to think the law of averages comes into play at some point for the Gators, and Kowacie Reeves and company come back down to earth at some point tonight.
Well, you would imagine. However, we've seen times where Tennessee struggles to score. And sitting at 4 points with half of the first half over, I think that's the issue. 17 points, yeah, for Florida. I mean, it's right around 35, but I think just Tennessee's offense looks like it's struggling right now.
Game over on ESPN2, but we would prefer that you keep it right here at Neville Arena. One more shot for Katie Johnson. Don't forget, coming up in Game 2, speaking of games, it is LSU and Mizzou. Dave Neal, John Sunvold on the call. We will touch base with them in Como in our second half tonight. And the Tigers really had one of the marquee wins, the SEC Big 12 Challenge this past weekend, toppling Iowa State in impressive fashion. And Mizzou's kind of entering into that NCAA tournament conversation along with maybe 7 or 8 other teams. Lead back to 6 for the Tigers. And Ingram off the bounce, a foul on the floor. Shooty, tell me what you think about this, because Mississippi State's kind of getting back on the bubble a little bit. A&M, I think, is a tournament team. Florida could really be served well with an upset tonight. Well,
there's no question they would be. And I feel like we're sitting halfway through the season. I feel like Texas A&M will, throughout the course of the next 5 weeks, work their way solidly into the tournament. Kentucky, I think, is going to become a lot stronger than 11 seed, as well as Arkansas at the 10.
And a turnover of Abdur Rahim.
So we talked about Auburn's guards. I think what also separates them is they're aggressive, right? So anytime I talk to a small guard, I say, you go chest to chest, right? You have the advantage of being lower. If they put that ball low, you snatch it.
I like the aggression. Berman, he'll direct traffic. He's been getting more minutes and gives Auburn more of a three-point threat. Wendell Green, that's a mid-range. There it is. Wendell Green Jr., first bucket.
Came off that screen, caught it in rhythm, where he's comfortable shooting the basketball.
Here's McBride coming off a season-high 17 in the comeback against South Carolina. 13 in red. And Abdur Rahim launching. That's a corner three, back iron. Broome, another rebound, his 8th already. So Johni Broome at this juncture, still early, out-rebounding the Dogs as a team.
He is active, he's big, strong, athletic.
Wendell Green attacking. Outside to Moore. That's a three. And the lead swells to 11, the largest of the game for Auburn.
Auburn has very good action in the half court. They've just hadn't been able to end it with a made shot.
Broome with a block. Green brought it down. Johni Broome doing everything so far. With the lob. Berman. Hill, the push off, an easy call. Justin Hill.
We saw Georgia early in this game. We're able to stay in it because of their transition. Rebound, get out and run with Terry Roberts, Kari Oquendo. Hill tried to do the same thing there, but Wendell Green has done a great job of getting out in front of him, even in the half court, not allowing him to turn that corner, and that's the job of a defensive guard. And on the other end, Auburn, so even against West Virginia in that first half, I thought they ran a lot of great off. They got a lot of good looks, just couldn't make them. So tonight, 2 of 11 from the three-point line. You see that most of those shots are open shots.
Well, Chris Moore just hit his first 3 since the game in Seattle against Washington. Feels like it was played about 2 years ago. Flanigan, a big step. And a rejection at the rack and a foul call. Tiger shooting free throws after this quick hiatus. And the home team out in front by 11. 7:46 to go in the first half. Go rocking. Aubie and company just feeling quite nice so far. A big game really for both sides. I mean, Georgia's trying to work itself into that postseason conversation. Auburn firmly in the field of 68, according to our man Joe Lunardi, but trying to improve the seeding. And Johni Broome in that last sequence, Flanigan kind of backed right up into that left shin, and that appeared to be an issue there.
Got him right on the, what are those sneakers called? The candy sneakers, Steph Curry style sneakers, Sour Patch Kids. We get a shot of his beautiful sneakers on the sidelines there. I think Alan Flanigan has them on too.
Yes, he does. I first saw those
Sour Patch Kids sneakers, right?
On Gigi Jackson about a month and a half ago, the freshman phenom in South Carolina. And I noticed that they have been making their way around the SEC.
And why not, I say?
I agree. We all love shoes. I mean, I think as a society, we love shoes much more than we ever have before. That's saying something because I've always loved shoes. You have as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Although I don't know if Sour Patch is my go-to. People make fun of me because I'm an Almond Joy kind of guy.
Really?
I love coconut and the almond match up together. Georgia in that zone defense now.
We'll match it up with a 2-3.
So you've got to keep that spacing. And Jalen Williams right there at that free throw line area. You can look at him.
Flanigan hit the deck. Oquendo can't believe it, and he did hit him. So the first on Cario Oquendo, the junior out of Titusville, Florida.
Just bailed him out. Bailed him out right there.
He did.
Yeah, you can't have that. Defensively, you got exactly what you wanted. Auburn didn't have great spacing on that offensive possession to allow for that free throw line pass, turn, look. Jalen Williams, earlier in the game, caught it, turned, a nice shot.
Don't forget our Thursday night women's basketball doubleheader highlighted by #1 South Carolina. Gamecocks hosting Kentucky. Aaliyah Boston back in action. That's up first at 7 Eastern. Then Vanderbilt and Mizzou from Como up next at 9 right here on the SEC Network. Also on the ESPN app. 27-14. Flanigan a couple of free throws. And Alan Flanigan already with 9 points. You know, we asked him today, hey, you're from Little Rock, you grew up in Little Rock. What's the most Little Rock thing about you? He said, my toughness. We never back down from a challenge. We don't shy away from physical play where I'm from, and I take pride in that as an Auburn Tiger.
And his grandfather is the legendary high school coach at Parkview, Al Flanigan, the legend. And he was all about toughness.
Well, I thought Williams and Jasper were tied up with each other for a moment. Moncrief snuck in there as well.
Moncrief has been very active. There's a bright spot that you look at for Georgia in this half. It's been the activity. I think Moncrief's been active around the paint, the rim, catching, rebounding.
Off the bounce, Holt pinned by Williams on the glass. Deep three from the logo. That's Wendell Green Jr. And Auburn starting to catch fire from deep.
Wendell Green said they forgot. They forgot I could pull up 5 feet. You want to talk about the Steph Curry Sour Patch Kid sneakers? How about the Steph Curry pull up for 3, 6 feet behind the three-point line? They forgot he could still do that.
A 14-0 run for Auburn. And now leading 30-14. Wendell Green got a couple of buckets here in the last 2 minutes. But it's been Flanigan and it's been Broome so far that have been the most dominant.
It's really been in the paint that's done it for Auburn. And we'll see now if Georgia can come out, Terry Roberts, Kerry Oquendo, if they can give him some offense. Without those guys on the floor, really hadn't been a lot of Georgia offense. Those guys sat, and you saw Auburn's been able to extend this lead.
Tigers doubling up Georgia on the glass, 17-8. And now 3 for their last 6 from distance. I mean, I certainly could make the argument coming into this season you thought Auburn would be a better shooting team from behind the three-point arc, and you wondered the second half of SEC play if maybe that starts to happen a little bit more. It hasn't happened yet, and the averages, the law of averages, I should say, kind of helps them out. Not so far this season. Roberts, the rejection, and it goes back to AU.
Zep Jasper is one of our best defenders in the SEC, moves his feet really well. Again, a smaller player, you got to anticipate, you got to be tough, willing to take shots, and you got to get underneath that defense. But yeah, to your point, we were joking with Bruce Pearl today, like, you'll probably make 12 tonight, right? Everybody's talking about your three-point shooting. Those are the times when they doubt you that you make them.
Green, I think, hurts it. Pours in another one. He's got 8. Lead up to 19. Roberts, the crossover, no. Stolen and ripped away by Flanigan. Well, we saw an incredible performance last night by Alabama at home against Vanderbilt, and the Tide were red hot, 10 first half threes. Auburn trying to take a page out of that book so far this evening, leading by 19 already.
Right, and it begins, though, with their defense. You see Wendell Green right here. He just comes off making a 3. You've got to step up. I think that might have been Abdur Rahim. Not sure who was not there stepping up. Anselm, you got to step up. You got to understand who you're defending. Wendell Green's going to come off that in rhythm. He's going to make that every time.
Green thought about it. He just wanted about an inch more of real estate to get that shot up. This time from the wing. And the handoff is picked off. Holt the spin. Brilliant finish with the left hand.
That's how you attack the rim under control, fast but not out of control. You see 9 out of 10 times a guy's committing an offensive foul in a situation like that. Good job by Holt.
Holt coming off a career high against South Carolina. In and out for Jasper. In that game, he had a career-high 8 points and a career-high 5 steals. Big shot for Abdur Rahim, no. Oquendo lost it to Green. And Cardwell down on the other end. They will stop it to allow him a moment.
Auburn really has battle right there. Looked like couldn't really exactly tell. Holding his ankle. But it is when Cardwell's on the floor with Broome and Jalen Williams, it's amazing to see the size of their perimeter players and then their guards. But they complement each other really well. Now obviously Flanigan in for Cardwell, who at 6'6" with that great length is hard to handle as well.
And one of the top shot blockers the SEC is Cardwell, and Flanigan talked about his toughness. SEC play, his production has accelerated.
16 seconds on the shot clock. Georgia again with that zone. That's the pass you got to make.
Broome, that was too easy. He's got 9 to go along with the 8 boards. Nearly a first half double-double. Certainly that's in play for Johni Broome.
Zap on the ball. See him swiping at that basketball. Hill's got to protect it.
Oquendo. Broome.
Georgia didn't make that defense shift from side to side at all.
Green somehow dumped it off to Johni. And the spin is well short.
You don't have to shoot it now. You kick it back out and reset and run a play.
Holt defended by Green. He's got the size there. Under 4 to go in the first. Mike White calling out a play.
There you go. Now that's what you need to do. Settle down. Run something. Make the defense work.
He'll thought about the step back. Instead, it's hold for three. Yes, big shot for Georgia, 35-19.
And Georgia is having to work. Nothing is coming easy right now for the Georgia Bulldogs offense.
Georgia 3 of 11 from deep. Holt had that last one, and the lead trimmed to 16 for the moment.
Man, right here. What are you seeing in this one, Patrick? The toughness of Auburn is too much for Georgia to handle.
Speaking of that toughness, Roy Philpott, Pat Bradley, what is the ceiling postseason for this Auburn Tiger team?
That's a great question, Fish. And gentlemen, you look great tonight, by the way. The ceiling to me, I mean, this is a team, provided it finds a little more from the outside in terms of the shooting, you know, can win a game or two in the dance. And listen, you know, you understand that expectations here, the Final Four run back in 2019 are always high. Bruce Pearl's done a tremendous job recruiting, continues to do that as of today. They've got a chance. And here's the other thing. With all the quad one opportunities, Fish, down the stretch for this team, if they can catch fire from distance, there's enough athleticism, you know about the coaching, that the resume is going to take care of itself. Shoot, I don't know. What do you think?
Absolutely. You know that Auburn is going to be able to get out pressure you defensively. They're going to be athletic. Now, the matchup issue we talked about before the game, if you play against some bigger guards, how are you going to react to that? KD Johnson, Wendell Green, Zep Jasper, those guys have played with toughness. Today, they've gotten every loose ball. So they have neutralized their lack of size, actually made it to their advantage with speed, quickness, and actually making some jump shots tonight. 2
quad one wins already for the Tigers. Now conference play helps you out there. Currently projected as an 8 seed. 5 on the clock for Wendell Green. No, the tip in by Broome. Yes. And he's got a double-double in the first half tonight.
The reason why we highlighted him early on in the game and what he could do.
Quindo the answer.
That's a rare open look for Georgia. Came off not much action. Just didn't get over and put a hand up as quickly as they needed to for that Auburn defense.
How many double-doubles did you have in Fayetteville? Was that something that occurred all that often? I mean, I know you could shoot it. I know you could score. But were there ever those moments where you had the dimes or the boards or the steals, or what was it?
No, not even close. Not even close. I think many times had double-digit shot attempts.
Yes. That counts for something.
That counts for something. I mean, it's not easy to get up that many shots. Once shot 24 threes in a game.
It's a lot of threes. Abdul Rahim picks up the foul.
Wendell Green does such a good job. He's patient also. When he's coming off those screens, he finds the crease. Talk about change of speed and direction. You know, for him, he has to have that. That's something that he's been able to do his entire career.
Well, he's done a great job getting to the free throw line this year. You saw the numbers leading the SEC. Free throws made, 84% at the stripe on the season. And don't look now, but he's knocking on the door of a double-digit performance in the first half as well. About 36% of his total production has come from the line. So, I mean, you can lean on that regardless of size, right?
Well, absolutely. I played in a game where it was a rematch game. In that first game, we got torched by the opposing team's backcourt. It was actually South Carolina with B.J. Mackey and them. So Wendell Green, Zep Jasper, KD Johnson, those guys have been herring everything for a while. They couldn't wait for this.
Hill off of one leg, no. Broome clears another board. B.J. Mackey, Larry Davis, Melvin Watson.
Yes, sir.
Lethal weapon 3.
Oh, we gave it to him, though, in the rematch.
Green throws it up and in. One of the foul, didn't get it, didn't matter.
When you making stuff like that, just circus shots, you know you're feeling it. Yeah, he probably did get hit, but good job playing through that contact. I like this pressure now. Making that Georgia offense start way out behind the three-point line.
Quindo for 3. Bridges an offensive rebound against Broome. Left-handed hook in and out. Seventh double-double of the year for Johni Broome. And about a quadruple pump fake there. I mean, talk about fundamentally sound.
We could see it. He just couldn't because he had an awkward angle at it. But great decision. Reset that offense.
Green against Hill. Green. Dogs need a mini run here at the end of the half. Oquendo will shoot 2 in the blocking foul called on Allen Flanigan.
When Auburn gets out in transition, they are like just a bolt of lightning. Lane opens. Wendell Green uses creativity. I think I saw him practicing that shot today. Shoot around.
Man, that's like something you would see out of John Morant.
Yeah, right. Great balance, though.
Wendell Green Jr. was something to prove tonight after Terry Roberts exploded for 26 in that first game.
There's no doubt. And that transition by Georgia right there. They started the game off, getting it off the glass, running out in transition. Oquendo, Terry Roberts.
And our trusted friend and colleague, Damian Fishback, just reminded me to remind you, you never answered the question. I said they could win a game or 2 in the dance. Auburn's ceiling. That's kind of where I am with it right now. If you had to project ahead, putting you on the hot seat for a moment, what would you think?
I could say anything. Yeah, go to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
There, I said it.
Okay.
I mean, is somebody going to call me up when they don't? Here you go, Fish.
Hey,
Fish, they go to the Elite 8, Fish, if they can make shots like this.
Not that time for Flanigan. Thank you.
The question is, what kind of matchup are they going to... they're going to give energy and effort. That's what Auburn's going to do. Going to go on the glass. They're going to defend.
McBride off the mark. Flanigan the rebound. Shot clock is off. Moore. Broom. And a foul was called. The whistle was late. It's on Frank Hanslem. Free throws coming for Johni Broome. Already has 11 points and 12 boards. 55% at the line this season. The Morehead State transfer. Well, coming up Friday night, we have another incredible gymnastics triple header. All 6 teams are ranked inside the top 20. Kentucky and Mizzou kick things off up first at 6 Eastern. Auburn and Alabama, need we say more, 90 minutes later. Then Georgia and LSU. Final match of the triple header at 9 o'clock Eastern. That is Friday. And they call it Friday Night Heights with good reason. Always right here on the SEC Network and on the ESPN app. 18-point lead. Shot clock remains off now for Georgia. Dogs last led when it was 2-0. Since then, it has been all Auburn. Tigers using a 17-0 run to create this separation. I want to ask Damian Fishback what he believes Auburn's ceiling is this year. Perhaps that's a halftime combo. Flanigan, no, at the horn. And the lead remains at 18 at the break. And how about Johni Broome?
He's been everything we thought he would be. He dominated inside the paint, on the glass, getting extra possessions for his team.
Peter Burns, Damian Fishback, and the birthday man, Patrick Young. Gentlemen, we say good evening.
Basketball going on. Zakai Ziegler, Colin Castleton taking on Patrick Young's former squad. You would think you came in early going, let's see what the Gators can get a little tussle.
Well, I think they heard me when I said all I want for my birthday is a dub. Mixing it up here, get that signature win.
Zach Tech
Build
Arena.
that resume. I hear you.
Right now, 14-4 at that point. You just see the energy in the building. All of a sudden, taking it down. Come on.
Trey Bonham, he can do that.
What do you notice about these plays, though? Florida getting out in front of the defense before that stifling defense of Tennessee sets up, and Olivia Kamwa, trifecta.
Top of the key, knocks that down. Tennessee down 6, and Kamwa down low, gets the layup to fall. Tennessee down 1 at that point. They go into half, trailing by 6. We'll talk about Auburn and Georgia in just a moment, but there's the birthday boy, Patrick Young, Damian Fishback. I am Peter Burns. All right.
31.
Right now, when you look at this Florida team looked re-energized. Was that just Tennessee, or is that something that all of a sudden you see Ty Golden telling those guys?
Well, I mean, it's multifaceted because Florida is not in right now. They've been in consideration. They've been first 4 out. last 4 out, all of these things right now. And it's important for them to see in this stretch. And it is difficult. Kansas State, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama. I mean, probably one of the toughest slates of anybody. Yeah. And they got to find a way to steal one of these wins to prove that. And I think success for Coach Golden this first year, if Gator fans want to look at that, is getting this team to the tournament. And it's difficult. It's difficult, but if anyone is capable of doing it, it is Coach Golden, how he's found his lineup. His guys believe in him, and they are playing really well together.
You want the good news or bad news?
Give me the bad news first.
The bad news is they're picking the wrong team to do that against.
I know, right?
The good news is tonight's not the only team they're going to play in Tennessee. Tennessee's just so good. Yeah. You looked at them in the first half. It's almost like they gave them a 15 to 20-point lead or advantage. And they, when they want to, just have the ability to stifle you defensively. The way they move, I saw you talk about it on last night's show, the way they work together cohesively as a unit, they just simply turn it up. And then when they do that, they have guys that can manufacture enough points to score, and that's what they did in the first half.
Yeah, they held Florida at 22 points for about 5-6 minutes right there for a while.
An upperclassman, right? And that's what helps. And there's a lot of seniority over on Rick Barnes' squad, but they still find themselves down 6 at half. Right now, it has been all Auburn Tigers, right? I mean, we look at this, and Bruce Pearl trying to figure out what gear were they going to go. The guys asked you about the ceiling. But before we get to the ceiling, what do you see in this one?
Well, for Auburn right now, when they're making shots, we always know they can compete with anybody in the country. They have proven that. The challenge for them has been when they're not making shots. How are they able to handle that defensively? Can they continue to stop teams? Tonight, they're making those shots for Georgia. I think you've got to come out and change it up in the second half. I think you're allowing Auburn to be too comfortable. Wendell Green's comfortable. Allen Flanagan's comfortable. Janai Brew. They're allowed to do what they want to do. Absolutely. The crowd is comfortable. So he's got to do something to change that up. As far as the ceiling question, I would be surprised if they don't get to the Sweet 16 if they're making shots like they're making tonight.
Yeah, obviously it's about matchups, but Auburn has to find a way to bottle up at least what they can of how they play at home and bring that elsewhere on neutral courts when they're in those hostile environments. Because when they get on the road, sometimes it just seems as though they lose their identity. But right now they are just this is a revenge game for them. After losing earlier, you can hear it in Zep Jasper's voice of like, these guys, they beat us. The guards, Terry Roberts scores 26 points on us. He's going to talk about this for the rest of his life. And it's like, no, we're going to punk you guys in the jungles today. And they're doing it, turning Georgia over and out rebounding them. So doing a great job there.
But here's the deal: they're taking care of the ball. Only 2 turnovers, right? There's a feistiness out of Auburn right now in the jungle, but a lot of it is it over aggressive right now?
Yeah, well, I think not only them being over aggressive, but he mentioned it. They have that crowd, that fan base. The key is going to be, like he said, taking that on the road. 3 teams in the SEC that have been ranked for all of 2022: Kentucky, Tennessee, and the Auburn Tigers.
Auburn Tigers, you saw it earlier on the broadcast, a lot of quad 1 games coming up. They'd like to get that dub over there in the jungle. And it was rocking. They do got the jungle going up on a Wednesday. How about a little alley-oop?
Oh, Flanagan.
Bucket, Tigers by 18. Night Tigers versus Tigers. This one up north. LSU headed up to take on Kobe Brown, who was fantastic in that big monster win over against Iowa State over the weekend.
Kobe Brown is at another level. The best basketball he's played in all of his college career, especially extending his range at the three-point line. He's been so much fun to watch. Him and Demoy Hodge have been really getting it done. One of the best front court, backcourt duos in the league.
Yeah, really love Demoy Hodge, but love that big fella. Built like an 18-whaler, but moves in and out like a Corvette. I love his mobility. His agility has really improved this year. He's going to have to play well. He is a what they call a matchup nightmare, but on the other side for LSU, this is a guy who I expected much more from. Now, let's be candid. He did come off the injury last year, hadn't played for a year, but the type of points that he put up early in non-conference I thought would transition into conference play. That hasn't happened of yet. I think it's because of the lack of point guard play.
You just had him, and Trey Hannibal's played a little bit. You just had him over against Texas Tech. What do they need to show you? What were they missing in that game?
Heart, toughness, grit, all of that. They're going to have that tonight.
Yeah. Just something.
Shots.
Yeah.
You'll see it. An hour until tip-off right here on SEC Network. Right now, come on, stop it. Green feeling it. Tigers up 18 at the break. Classes, take a look. 13 of the 14 SEC schools classes ranked in the top 50. Georgia, of course, top 3 class. Kirby looking for back-to-back-to-back Tom Amansky style national championships, and Auburn top 25 with Hugh Freeze right there. All right, Terry Roberts, last time we saw him, he had 26 in the upset on January 4th. He only got 4 in the first. Dogs down 18 at the break.
And so glad you could join us with Pat Bradley. I am Roy Philpott Schuta. Auburn impressive in so many different ways. I apologize for using the phrase double-double about 29 times in the first half, but that's what Johni Broome accomplished.
There's no doubt, and it was what we expected early on in this game, where he was going to be able to dominate the paint, and he did it in a variety of ways, getting on the offensive glass right here. Just so big, strong, athletic, knows where to be. Great roll, good catch in the lane and finish above the rim, and then right there, very simple basketball, catches it right at the heart of the paint, go up and finish.
Well, Wendell Green Jr. started slow, then caught fire, finishing with 11 points in the first half, couple of dimes. And, I mean, the shots coming from really deep in the first 20.
He found his rhythm, and you have to understand that's what Wendell Green wants to do. And once he starts to get rolling, he's going to find the opportunity to create space for his three-point shot. Georgia's got to realize, especially when he comes off that high ball screen, if you're not meeting him right after that screen, he's going to rise up and pull that three.
Tigers trying to exact revenge after that early loss to Georgia in league play back on January 4th. Do the math, that was 28 days ago. And now the rematch. Good start for the home team. Last Georgia sweep of Auburn coming back in 2016. It's been a while. Got some work to do to try to achieve that. Green off the fake. First possession of the second half. It'll stay on this end.
Good early action by Auburn. Watching them against Georgia in the last game, and then Saturday, even Saturday in that loss, they had some really good offense early on. Just wasn't able to finish plays offensively.
Shot clock under 10. And Wendell Green Jr. out to Jasper. Too strong, and it pops out to Roberts. Georgia would love to get off to a fast start. They grabbed an early 2-0 lead before it was all Auburn, and there's the fast start Dog fans were hoping for. McBride from distance.
Yeah, that's about as good as you can imagine for Georgia getting on transition. That's what they did to start this game, kept it close, swing the ball around, find the open shooter, but you got to run your lanes, flatten out the defense, get to the corners.
Broome with the monster numbers in the first half. Also did not commit a turnover. Flanagan a couple of steps. That's a three. Top of the key, and it was money.
Well, there was no doubt about that. When he came and curled around that, there was no doubt he was going to shoot. There was a hand in his face, but he just gets up about 2 feet on that jump shot.
Tigers back in the zone. Will morph into man-to-man at various points in a particular possession. Shot clock at 10. Baseline J by Holtz, and he was bumped.
Alan Flanagan's done a good job today on a few of the offensive possessions of cutting hard, finding the open spot. That time it was coming around the top of the key, no hesitation, catch and shoot, good balance. He had times where he's cut through the lane, off some screens, and from the top of the key curls on that action straight to the rim.
First foul on Green. Holt shooting 2. 88% at the line this year for the Alabama transfer, played in 22 games in Tuscaloosa. Speaking of Alabama, Auburn fans, cover your ears, but I imagine the Crimson Tide could be front and center in our Wednesday night heaters coming up. Broome, another rebound.
Oh yeah, they happen to play well this week.
I mean, you win by 57. 57.
Unprecedented.
Broome, wide open path.
And that play right there, that's what Coach Kerr was talking about.
Holt the answer, that's a three.
Make or miss, Georgia getting it out of the net.
Lead down to 16. The action picking up on both ends. And a timeout called by Bruce Pearl. Well, who's hot in the SEC? We gave you a little taste just a moment ago. But Shooter's going to tell you what's happening. That's coming up.
We're sizzling on the plains. Wednesday Heat is coming up next.
Texas in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. 20 points, 10 dimes getting it done, Shooter.
How about Shaquille Moore? Had to step up big time. Under control, goes for 22 points against South Carolina.
Big Blue Nation celebrate. Antonio Reeves, hot from distance. Yeah, he's been amazing, and we will see what that looks like moving forward.
And something I don't know if we'll ever see again. The largest victory, yeah, that's right, in the SEC game in program history, 101 to 44. That's not a typo. That's not a misprint.
That's 57 points. That's a 50-plus burger.
And to score 101 is one thing, but to hold a team to just 44 points in a Vanderbilt team who's got a really good offense. I mean, it's good. They averaged 10 made three-pointers per game,
right?
Vandy, and they held it to made 3. I know the Auburn fans,
they're cringing right now. They don't want to hear anything about Alabama. Not now. Could be the best team in the league, though, right? Tennessee may have something to say about that.
Right.
See if Kentucky can get going again. They're playing better as of late. Williams. Broom. I mean, that's been their best offense tonight. That and Wendell Green from deep.
Well, the great part about that is Jalen Williams catches it there and he's isolated one-on-one.
Ingram short. Roberts has it. Holt tracks it down off the miss. Johni Broome with season high 14 boards. Open 3, money, and that's McBride, and he's really been serving up threes lately. 17 in the win against South Carolina.
All started by that incredible change of direction behind the back move by Terry Roberts to get to the paint. Good swing by the Georgia offense for a 3.
Williams swiped by Ingram, and that's a foul.
We talked about Terry Roberts, how talented he is behind the back. That just get on that straight line, the needle through the defense.
Shot clock at 10. Green, corner 3. There it is, it's all net. Well, he had something to say afterwards. Katie Johnson looked at him and was talking with his teammates on the Auburn bench. And a bounce for Bridges.
Bridges is good down there, got good position, can score with his right hand or left hand, little baby hook.
Do you want to see anything differently on the defensive end for Georgia?
Well, first you got to identify Wendell Green because he is feeling it right now. And for him to find an open look, now this is just hard work. He makes this. Look.
My goodness! Wendell Green!
So I don't know what you do right there, okay? That's about as good defense as you can imagine. Maybe throw another defender at him. So you double team him, get him off the ball.
Wendell Green taking this game over. Broome, the swipe from behind, and a personal foul.
Wendell Green can push. Surveys the field, says, okay, no one wants to cover me. I'll just stop and pop for that 3. And then, of course, shows you everything between the legs, around the back, puts a little hook and soft touch, it goes in.
Story as well. Double-double for Johni. And Green finding the zone. I mean, he hasn't seen a shot tonight that he hasn't fallen in love with.
Right, and it's got in the which we saw him do a lot last year and this year, finding his sweet spot. And also in transition, if you don't pick him up early and he's feeling it, he's going to pull from 5-6 feet behind that three-point line. And he's taking it personal. He heard about what everyone was saying. Auburn's backcourt. Can they compete against a bigger backcourt? Can they make shots? And he showed today that yes, they can.
Entering the second half of league play coming up this weekend. Katie Johnson open for a moment. Raheem clears. Quick trigger, Oquendo. Donaldson the rebound. And ahead, the dunk by Flanagan.
Georgia shooting a lot more threes this start of the second half. Auburn getting out on that defensive glass, getting and running. That's what they got to do.
Bridges inside double team, and a swipe results in a foul on Cardwell.
Auburn on pass by Trey Donaldson. Alan Flanagan with the easy two. Easy for him anyway. High above the rim.
Five minutes into the second half. Tigers at Tennessee coming up Saturday afternoon. That's at 2 o'clock on ESPN.
I thought play. That's important too, to knowing each other's tendencies.
Lob for Williams. Oh, how smooth was that?
That was the play Coach Bruce Pearl had talked about. The flex cut, which then normally the screener comes out and catches at the free throw line. That time, he rolled for the alley-oop.
Another steal. This time it was Katie Johnson. Georgia transfer. Little stop and go. KD, acrobatic finish. And an offensive foul.
Still gonna look at that one. Looked like KD was jumping to his right, sliding out of the way. So short Ingram was square. I'll leave that up to you to make the final decision. Well, actually, the final decision's already been made.
It is done. Abdur Rahim short on the three. Oquendo flies in for the board and the points. Oquendo gets going in a hurry, but Georgia's still trailing big. 20-point deficit.
Yeah, Oquendo can beat you anywhere in transition on the offensive glass like that.
Johnson, no. Cardwell also off the mark. Justin Hill, jump stop, off the glass.
I love that. I love that. 9 out of 10 times, that's an offensive foul, right? In transition, under control, jump off, goes off to 2 feet. Nice little soft touch, jumps away from the defender.
Donaldson over to Flanagan. Great night so far, and that continues for 22 in white. 17 on the board for Alan Flanagan. Turnaround, no. Bridges. Here's Johnson. And Ingram and Cardwell tied up inside. A quick whistle. Johnson throws in a triple just because he can.
Well, Auburn's going to run any chance they get. They are off to the races. Great job there, flattening out the defense. Get to the open spot. I think Flanagan has done a great job finding the open areas on the floor, because you can holler all day if you think you're open, but if there's not a passing lane there, then your teammate can't get it to you. Then you have to understand, I got to move. I got to figure out how to get open, and Flanagan's done a good job of that.
Mentioned earlier, we have LSU Missouri coming up as soon as we're done here on the Plains. Our next segment, we will touch base with
Dad,
Dave Neal and John Sunvold calling that game. Berman chases down his own miss. Donaldson. Lob to Cardwell. Fought off by Abdur Rahim and a foul called. I believe they got, was it Cardwell? It was.
A lot of action down there. Cardwell couldn't quite finish. I think it's the second time he's got it underneath the basket. Just couldn't get his balance and finish. Saw a nice clip there of Coach Wes Flanagan and his son Alan Flanagan talking it over on the bench. Wes is an Auburn legend.
Ooh, crossover by Hill. Ooh, crossover by Hill. Abdur Rahim. Cardwell controls with authority.
Now, that's how you snatch a rebound. Might pop the basketball next time. That's how you do it.
Johnson feeling it. Long two. And a foul called on the make. Is that Cardwell again?
I think it's getting a little chippy down there in the paint. I wasn't surprised KD Johnson shot that, because you could see the look in his eyes. Aggressive man's rebound. You can just tell when KD's feeling it. He wants to put it up.
4 points tonight for numeral 0. KD Johnson gets his former team. Hill wants it, takes it, and was fouled. Well, the dunk party in full effect tonight, shooting. Bruce Pearl's got to love it.
Yeah, you could feel it in the air tonight. Alan Flanagan, great advance pass by Trey Donaldson. Allen goes up, finishes with authority. And then KD Johnson throws it high to Jalen Williams on that flex cut.
Where LSU and Mizzou follow us. Dave Neal, John Sunvold, what are you guys expecting tonight?
Oh, another great crowd. I mean, obviously there's a lot of excitement, Roy, about this team, and coming off that win against Iowa State last Saturday. You were here, man. What an electric atmosphere.
Yeah, and you think about the two guys who play tonight. Kobe Brown is going to be spectacular. I don't know if anybody's played better than Kobe Brown this time of year in the last 9 games. And for LSU, they need KJ Williams to be great tonight. They go on the road. We know they've struggled scoring. Missouri's not the biggest team. Maybe KJ can have a big night.
Yeah, and this is one of those games you call them a trap game, right? A team that certainly has played well in Missouri against a team that's really wounded. They have lost 8 straight. Guys, should be fun tonight. Back to you.
Gentlemen, we look forward to that. Well done, well executed.
Like they were matching. Did they have matching suits?
Did they really?
Pocket squares.
Do we need to do that at some point in time to step our game up?
We don't.
All right, I'm just double checking. I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, I'm in the blue, you're in the black tonight. I've got the glasses. My mom loves it when I wear the glasses. So I wear the glasses when I'm on camera.
People take you a lot more seriously when you wear glasses.
I feel like I'm smarter with the glasses on. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Probably is. Mom, hope you're doing well. I'll call you later. Auburn in bounce-back fashion tonight has been impressive. Bruce Pearl. I mean, think about it like this. I was talking with our production crew during halftime. And I said, you know, we got to give Bruce a little bit more love in the second half if this game continues. Furman was fouled hard by Hill after forcing the turnover. KD Johnson slow to get up here, too. No, Hill picks up the foul. But, I mean, you think about the current run Auburn's been on. 32 straight weeks ranked inside the AP top 25. They're recruiting at a high level. That has continued today. And you see the dash takeover there telling you what I just told you. It continues to just kind of get better and better at a place where, it wasn't that easy to win. A place where, it wasn't that easy to win before his arrival. And now it's not easy necessarily, but he's certainly making it much more doable, shall we say.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The expectations have changed so much. And, you know, what's interesting today, we're talking with him, is we're talking about his guards. And he has done such a great job every year developing his guards. And when the Final Four, Bryce Brown, Jared Harper. So the expectation that the level of play from that guard spot, because they're known for putting the ball in the guard's hand, come off that high ball screen, shooting the three, attacking the paint, throwing lobs to the big men. We're getting to see that from Wendell Green today. But that's been something you've expected from Bruce Pearl's teams.
Can the three-point shooting we've seen tonight, 7 of 20, I mean, that's a respectable 35%. What are the chances we see more of this in the second half of the season? I think in my heart of hearts it's there for Wendell Green Jr.
Sure.
Flanagan's been red hot tonight. But, you know, that's a big question, because if the answer is yes, then this team's got a chance to do some damage in postseason play. Look, the three-point percentage, unfortunately, not as high this year as what it was when they made the run to the Final Four, but it's a big difference.
Right. So the right guy shooting, okay, that's important too. And they're getting good looks. Most of the shots, the threes that Auburn gets, are pretty wide open shots. You've got Jalen Williams, who's 37%. Alan Flanagan's a 32% three-point shooter. Zep Jasper's 30%.
Donaldson
with that make, he just got closer to 30%. So yes, Auburn's going to get good looks from the three-point line.
She's got to make him. She's got to make him. McBride, he's going to make that one. All of a sudden, he has 9 and 3 makes from deep.
So Georgia this half said, we're going to press you, we're going to catch, we're going to shoot, we're going to be aggressive from the three-point line.
Moore's wide open. Broome another board. And he was fouled quickly. Can good three-point shooting become contagious for a team over a stretch of multiple games?
I think so. A lot of it is mental, yes. There's that aspect. You got to get in the gym. There's that aspect. You got to get in the gym. You got to work. But for a guy like Wendell Green, we're looking at him right now. He's a very rhythm shooter. Katie Johnson, the same thing. They're rhythm shooters. However, I think a good three-point shooter has to understand where and when I shoot the basketball. That's part of the game.
Urban the fake. Urban lost the handle.
Good job stopping the ball by Katie Johnson.
Roberts for 3, 66-47. Roberts hasn't had many opportunities tonight. He's got 7 points overall.
No, he hasn't. They've done a good job of keeping him out of the lane. Remember in that first matchup, he was tough to keep out of the painted area, caused all kinds of problems. Now Georgia said, you know what? Okay, we're going to pack it in. Let's get in the three-point contest.
Broome, dominant. That continues, rattles that one home.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is smiling somewhere, watching that 15-foot skyhook.
I mean, these are Oscar Tshiebwe numbers posted tonight for number 4 in white. He's got 19 points, 16 boards. Moncrief, 2 point-blank chances that time.
That was a good effort by Moncrief, though. You see where he's so good around the basket, just couldn't finish. It's a good look by Broome. It's just got to be more accurate, and Katie Johnson has to create a better passing lane that we had talked about before. That's should have been a wide open three.
With Johnson, you feel like he wants it here. Up and in. KD with 6.
Well, when he wants to get to the rim, he's so strong and explosive. It's tough to stop him.
Roberts, same spot, different result. Rebound by Moncrief, fresh 20. McBride attacking. Ripped away by Broome. Johnson, the step-back triple. Fat foul. Juice Holt didn't let him come down cleanly.
Yeah, KD just baited him into that. Attacked the three-point line like he was going to initially shoot it. KD, you know, he gives you both. I mean, he'll pull quick, but he'll also give you a little hesitation between the legs and leave you in the dust.
Well, he could be, I hate using the phrase X factor, but he could be exactly that, considering he had 10 points at West Virginia. That was his highest total going back a good ways, averaging 8 points per game this year. And then now tonight a chance to get back to 8 points here at the line for the game.
Sure.
This is a guy who's preseason All SEC.
Yeah.
All SEC.
Yeah.
And coming off the bench.
So last season, when Auburn's in close games, at these games, at the end, the ball was in KD Johnson's hand. He's making plays. He's making plays all over the floor. So he's got that in him. They've got that in him. They've got now. So Coach Pearl is figuring out, okay, I know these guys' strengths. Okay, I know these guys' strengths. At what moment? When do I put them in the? When do I put them in the game? When do I take advantage of their strengths?
Two of three at the line. Oh, Johnson with a chance to go to double digits in back-to-back games for the first time since the Colgate-Memphis contest almost 2 months ago now. But that would be an encouraging sign. And Oquendo bounced that pass out of bounds.
Roberts.
Last year,
Williams has to go. Flanagan collects. Flanagan finishes.
Georgia's defense is just spinning around now because Auburn's able to make the three-point shot. They've got to defend it. Now it opens up the lane. Great job by Jalen Williams to protect that from going out of bounds. But KD Johnson has lit it up, finishing at the rim. Big, strong, explosive. He tells you about it, too. And, of course, you know KD's got that catch and shoot. Auburn up 77-49.
Peter Burns with the studio update. Vols down 13 early, but they've won 22 of their last 24 SEC games because of plays like this. Zakai Ziegler with the three, part of an 8-0 run for the Vols. But don't worry. Those fans at Exactech said, hey, come on. Gators going the other direction. Get the layup. 47-46, back to everybody's favorite boy band, Roy Philpott and Pat Bradley.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Great one going on down at Exactech Arena. Different story here. Number 25, Auburn, lost their last two games. The home court winning streak came to an end last week. Different story, though, tonight, and really almost wire-to-wire. An exact opposite kind of game than what we saw in Athens back in January. And the game coming up Saturday in Knoxville, 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. That game's going to be a little juicy. What do you think?
Well, first of all, they're going to have to do what they've been successful today, and that is slowing down Terry Roberts. They're going to do that to Zakai Ziegler.
Ziegler in double figures already tonight. Good shot down low for the Dogs.
But Roberts destroyed Auburn's defense early on that first matchup, unable to get in the paint.
Cardwell lost it. Moncrief claims it. Dur-Rahim took a nasty spill right in front of us, but appears to be okay. He'll launch a three, and definitely is. One in red, knocks it home.
Sharif Abdul-Rahim.
Mentioned his dad in attendance tonight, making the trip down to the Plains.
Well, you don't know if there's enough possessions in that game left for Georgia, but the way they're attacking that three-point shot, Auburn better get out there, because a couple steals, a couple threes. Like I said, I don't know if there's enough time.
Flanagan off the lob. Big Al has 22. Matching that jersey number in impressive fashion. McBride. He'll respond, top of the key. Auburn has put the clamps down. It's been impressive in bounce back mode. And when you're hot, you're hot. Cardwell tried the reverse jam off the alley-oop, and it bounced home off the huge carom.
It's a little bit of living right.
Blocking foul called. I thought McBride may have pushed off.
Yeah, looked like KD got there. At least there was a left-hand push. What a pass. Allen Green again working so well today, understanding spacing, cuts.
How did that drop? That was a great shot from what was our vantage point as well. Wendell Green probably lean in his direction, Shooter.
I don't mind that call at all.
Okay.
Actually, I don't mind that call at all, because I'm somebody, when it comes to an offensive foul, players got to be out of control. I grew up where it was a player control foul. The offensive player is trying to push you out of the way. Whoa! Now that's a technical foul. Look at him. Look at him. He's pumped.
What a time to be alive. I wish that we could zoom in on your expression as we went through that.
His workout routine is something to
Johnson down low. He's got 13.
Now his facial expressions too. That's Auburn's doing a great job though of cutting, to spreading out that Georgia defense.
Faces of KD Johnson, worthy of consideration for an extended period. He's got a little something to say, right?
Always.
I admire that. I also admire the Southern Hoops documentary coming out, a history of SEC basketball. Part of our 7-part documentary continues every Monday now through March 13th. We'll have a new show at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Part 2 looks at 1960 through 1970. The civil rights impact on the Southeastern Conference. Texas Western's historic 1966 NCAA championship win over Kentucky. And Perry Wallace, the conference's first black player, plus the incredible career of LSU's Pistol Pete Maravich. Going to be an incredible watch right here, the SEC Network, and also on the ESPN app. And Perry Wallace breaking ground, playing for Vanderbilt, 1966 through 1970. First black player in SEC history. The basketball side, also a Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, inducted back in 2003. The numbers were tremendous. You see nearly 900 rebounds, second leading rebounder in Vanderbilt history, law degree from Columbia. And I tell you what, one of the living legends, and certainly breaking barriers would be an understatement. What he did, not only for Vanderbilt, but the SEC.
Absolutely, no question. A debt of gratitude certainly for him and what he was able to accomplish. Looking forward to all of that series.
Well, just the footage that you've seen in the trailers and the previews. If you're watching Paul Feinbaum before you were watching us today, and you see it during some of the commercials, it entices you to want to watch more in all 7 parts.
Cannot be easy making a free throw with the crazy man with half a shirt.
Mr. Coconuts.
Mr. Coconut himself in the orange hair and the mustache. No belt, too. How's that?
Mr. Coconut's making things happen.
Apparently he goes every night like clockwork at this time. He works on that in his dorm room. Just works on his form. The jiggle, the jump. Did you see how he's able to lean backwards? Oh!
Cardwell slams it home. What a lob from Green. Oh, that was nasty. McBride splashes home the triple.
And now you see those alley-oop plays from Auburn are able to happen more frequently throughout this game as more three-point shots they make 9 of them. So now that that middle of the floor is open for that lob.
Tigers have been 8 straight from the 4. And Green was fouled. Earns 2 more free throws.
Talked to Coach Bruce Pearl yesterday, and he said, yeah, you know, we've come to be known over the last few years, certainly, as that guard-oriented team. Come off high ball screens. We're shooting the 3. We attack the paint. We throw lobs. This team isn't quite like that. So they've had to go to other actions with Janai Broome and Jalen Williams around the paint and some flex screen. But tonight, This is that old Auburn style that we're used to seeing.
That is so well said. Reminds you of what you saw here 5 years ago.
Absolutely. And it does. So we had the conversation, what is this team ceiling? Well, they've got as much size and athleticism as you need. Their guards are experienced. You saw when they have to. 9 of 28 from the three-point line right now. When that offense starts rolling, Wendell Green coming off that high ball screen can shoot it, throw the lob. So you tell me. They can win a few in the tournament now. Look out.
No question. 88-63. Auburn approaching its season high in terms of total points. Hill between the legs, behind the back. McBride, another three. And tell you what, Trez McBride giving you an option off the bench for head coach Mike White. He's got 20 points. That's a new season high after 17 against South Carolina.
Isn't it amazing now when you're just sort of throw caution to the wind and you're like, let me just catch and shoot, and we're down and we're just going to come at you. That's a great curl.
Like Cardwell, aggressive with the attack on the rim.
Such a great curl by Allen Flanigan. What a toss. That lob coming off that high ball screen. Dylan Cardwell straight to the rim. He's wearing the headband like Ron Slay. Oh! He is too.
Boom, tremendous tonight.
He has been, and he understands his strengths. Let me stay around the rim. That right there is that flex screen on the baseline, although he doesn't elect for the lob. Gets out, catches it, ripped through one dribble, yokes it.
19-18, and in the same conversation as players like Austin Wiley and Walker Kessler, arguably is one of the top rookies in the NBA this season and has really been impressive in year number one.
Well, we knew coming into this game, Johni Broome was going to be the key because some of the lack of size that Georgia has in his ability to get on the rim, big, strong, aggressive, and he didn't disappoint. He set the tone at the beginning of this game. If it wasn't for his activity, I'm not so sure if the guards would feel comfortable enough to be able to get out and shoot the three the way they did.
Under 4 to go, Auburn shooting 72% in the second half tonight, 18 of 25.
And if I could add to that conversation we had about the ceiling of Auburn, they're sitting on 5 turnovers right now. Auburn, as a team, as the game. Georgia is a really good defensive team. They're going to pressure you. They get out in lanes. They don't make many defensive mistakes. Okay. So for Auburn to play at that speed that they have today and only turn over 5 times, that's winning basketball right there. That's winning.
Foul called. Anselem was bumped. LSU, Missouri headed your way as soon as we're done here in Auburn. Flanigan picked up the foul.
And for Georgia, man, you're running into, listen, the jungle on the plains today was going to be wild. You knew it. I knew it. Not only was there a rematch revenge factor, but they're trying to get back in that win streak here.
And Bruce Pearl told us, we got to do a better job staying in front of Roberts and Oquendo this evening. I think that happened more in transition where that was an issue. In Athens, not as much, obviously, tonight. We saw McBride go off, but essentially at that point in time, the game's out of reach.
Right.
It was a 17-0 run in the first half, and it's been, a working margin of around 20 points since that point in time.
Yeah, and it was, I think, the decision-making by Auburn when they saw Georgia throw that zone. What did they do? They didn't panic. Got the ball to the free throw line area. Turn, look. A couple times it was Jalen Williams or Johni Broome. But for this team to be successful moving forward, I do think the decision-making, who's shooting it, from where are they shooting it at. Look at that pass.
I mean, we've seen Cardwell, we've seen Broome tonight do the best imitation of Shaquille O'Neal that I've seen in the last 2 decades with those dunks.
How about that was Magic Johnson to Shaquille O'Neal? Okay, but that's good player moving ball, knowing where to be against that defense to where I catch it, I can score, or I can drop it off to my man for a dunk.
Dylan Cardwell, the junior from Augusta, Georgia.
credit Jalen. So Allen Flanigan to Jalen Williams. All three of those guys are on the same page. Catch it right there, that open spot. Boom. Drop it down to Dylan Cardwell. Look at him. He's looking at his own replay. Did you see that? He was looking up at the screen, the big screen. He wanted to see his own replay. We got it for you, big dog. Don't worry. We'll keep replaying it in the SEC Now show.
McEachern High School shooting almost 80% from the floor this year. I mean, when he's taking a shot, generally it's really close to the rim or the dunk fest like we've seen tonight. And the jump hook, why not?
Oh, now he's kissing it to the crowd. Paying homage.
He does play a little bit to the
does.
jungle. Hill short, hold the board.
You could do an entire highlight clip on him and KD Johnson in their celebrations.
Offensive foul. McBride, the guilty party. You really could. You could do that. You could do, like, this is an idea for the Auburn Twitter folks. Just do a package with the facial expressions and, yeah, KD, talk to me. Talk to me, KD.
Get back on defense, KD. There he goes. Okay. He is funny.
But it's KD with the expressions and then Dylan playing to the jungle.
Oh, he
right?
does. Absolutely.
13 points tonight, a bigger deal after the 10-point effort at West Virginia. We mentioned it earlier, back-to-back double-digit performances for KD. First time since Colgate in Memphis that's happened.
I think he's saying, I'm not done. Watch this, fellas. Give me the rock.
Auburn, Tennessee Saturday. I brought it up quickly earlier. Tennessee on the ropes right now on ESPN2 against Florida. Corner three, no by Moore. What's it going to take? I mean, obviously, you'd love to shoot 40% from three like you have pretty much tonight. But to win in Knoxville for this Auburn team, it's a tall task.
Well, it is, and you say tall task, and that is no pun intended. But you're going to have to deal with Olivier Kama. You're going to have to deal with Uros Plavšić. Tennessee is one of the biggest teams, so they're going to be able to throw that size against you. And to battle with Johni Broome and Dylan Cardwell, Jalen Williams, I feel like Zakai Ziegler is playing as good as anybody. He's thrown his hat in the ring for SEC Player of the Year. Okay, I know Brandon Miller is leading the pack along with Oscar Tshiebwe.
Season high 94 points tonight for Auburn. Berman got into the mix. And that Tennessee team may not be feeling all that great after what's happening in Gainesville tonight. If you're just tuning in, 60-51. Florida really improving its resume if that score holds. About 2.5 minutes to go.
Well, and I'm a big believer in the mental advantage. And you have a, for instance, Auburn team coming off of a loss, coming off of a home winning streak that was snapped. They had the mental advantage after also being beaten by Georgia previously last month. And now if whatever happens in Florida at Exactech Arena, you may have an angry Tennessee Volunteers team going back to Knoxville.
That's correct.
So this is a human game. There's always going to be that human element. Like, how do you motivate? We talked about going into this game. We even did in our broadcast. The advantage of Auburn was the bigs.
I thought you were talking about how we motivated ourselves for this broadcast.
Well, I think we motivate. Yeah, we do. People say it's not good enough. Got a funny accent.
Cardwell at the line, all smiles. And Bruce Pearl will bring in some of his walk-on reserves.
Now these guys got to put it up, right? The walk-ons?
I mean, I think that's the best theory. You get PT this time of year in league play, you got to put it up.
Well, I know for sure. We were at shoot-around today, and we love shoot-around, you and I. My man,
25 in white. We'll start there.
Chandler Leopard was just filling it. I mean, torching the nets. Of course, no one was guarding. However,
stepped out of bounds after forcing the turnover.
Chandler's got this game face. All of them, they're all ready.
I think in the span of about 25 minutes, we saw him miss one shot.
Yes, it was pretty good performance. It's a great shooting rim, so.
Big win for Auburn. LSU, Missouri coming up moments from now. Ingram launching. He'll rattle home a three.
I'm excited, too, for Georgia, though, moving forward because, you know, they're going to show up defensively. This was just, they ran into a buzzsaw today against Auburn.
Well, you mentioned the Dogs and you mentioned Buzz. They'll get Buzz Williams in College Station Saturday night, 8:30. Back here on SEC Network. Big win for the Tigers. 17-5 now, 7-2 in the SEC. Dogs fall to 14-8, 4-5 in league play. Bruce Pearl, Mike White, shaking hands, exchanging pleasantries, and Auburn secures its 100th win in this series. And one of the great rivalries in the Deep South. Two will split the series this year.
It was what we sort of expected from both teams. Johni Broome, his size, athleticism around the rim set the tone for Auburn. And then it was the guards. I felt Wendell Green and Zep Jasper and K.D. Johnson did an excellent job taking it from there.
94-73, our final score. For Pat Bradley, the shooter, I'm Roy Philpott saying good night from Auburn. Tigers win it by 21. Let's send you to the studio. I need more Peter Burns, Patrick Young, and Fish.